All right. Oh yeah. Black Sun and the Hizzle all for shizzle dizzle. We got an excellent show here today. I wanna let me send the invite to the chat. Copy BM and we're gonna paste this face. Booyah. Okay. All right, y'all. We're gonna do some therapy Thursdays today. Therapy Thursday. And we're going to talk about a little bit of nutrition. Um, we're going to discuss that, and then we're going to wait on a potential guest. But until then, we're going to talk a little bit about just give some time for people to come in, and we're going to talk about um, oh, Zanzi, what's going on, man? Let me send you. The link is right there. You can click on the link if you're not working. I don't know if you're working right now, so let me know. I don't know if you're at work right now. But yeah, today we talk about, natural remedies, mental health, nutrition, that kind of stuff, therapy Thursdays. And we, turn on a little light. Here's a little dark. Turn on a little light there. There we go. All right. Yeah, at work. Okay, no problem. No problem. I got get you at work. Okay, no problem. We don't want to disrupt any work that you have there. I'm only going to be on for an hour, so I'm enjoying listening in. Okay, cool, cool. All right, so as y'all know, I'm still got the COVID-19. So y'all excuse me for the coughs here and there. Um, let's see. So, um, where do I start? So as y'all know, I did a little advertisement this morning talking about YouTube taking down one of my videos. It was the um, Taiwan China video, and in that video, I talked about how horrible Joe Biden is as a president. I mean, he's horrible. He's terrible. Talked about the gas prices. Talked about what else did I talk about? Um, them bringing up the Trump trials for January 6th and how that's going to be a distraction to take away. They're going to try to make Trump the whipping boy. So, oh, YouTube, I remember everything I said now. I can repeat everything I said verbatim, So the message is still going to get across regardless of them taking down my video because they don't agree with my political views. Yeah. So, whew. Oh, thank goodness. I'm sorry, y'all. My got some ghetto-fied neighbors that be playing the music loud. Like, talk about mental illness. That's a mental illness that a lot of people suffer from, playing loud music, thinking that other people want to hear that shit. So let me give a message out to the people. Other people don't want to hear your loud music. Okay, they don't want to hear it. Like, why do people do that? They do it for attention. But the thing is that you're going to draw the wrong attention. And, so yeah, I would advise people, don't play your music so loud to where it's bothering other people. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Um, I want to start today, and that's a mental issue that I'm gonna definitely touch on in deep, deep, deep. Hey, Mellow Cap, shout out to you, sister. What's going on? What's going on? So when Mellow Cap arrives, Twin Pyramid and Twins brother's gonna show up. So hopefully, let's see. But Phil Collins is so good. What DPU mean? People want listen to it. I don't know what you mean by that, Zanzi. I wish you can call in, man. I don't know what you're saying. I don't understand about Phil Collins. I'm sorry, it's going over my head. I don't understand what you mean. I'm sorry. Yeah, he says Phil Collins. I'm lost. Are you referring to the music? Or when I'm talking about music, all I hear is. So I don't know who the fuck it is. I just hear. That's all I hear. It's fucking ridiculous. Okay, it was sarcasm about neighbors playing loud music. Okay, man. That's why we got to get you on the panel, man. You know, a lot of stuff gets for shizzle my nizzle. That's right. That's right. Yeah, okay. A lot of stuff gets lost in translation, especially if you're telling jokes. If you tell jokes in the chat, it's best to be on the panel. It's best to be on the panel because, and you know, you Canadians have a whole different type of humor, Zanzi. Let's talk about that, man. Y'all, you know, I was watching Jimmy Dore yesterday, right? And I'm gonna say this. Jimmy Dore had some, I don't know if she's some feminazi, and she was up there telling jokes. Now I'm assuming, you know, this was a white woman because these are all white people, right? And she was making jokes about men, like just going off on men, and I'm like, dude, it's not funny. You know me, I said, you sound lonely and bitter, and so, um, I guess the woman heard that and just kept coming with these like weird, just anti man jokes. And I'm like, yo, you obviously don't have a man, you know? So yeah, it was awkward and it was weird. It was strange to me because, you know, I come from a culture where the man and woman relationship paradigm is celebrated. You know what I'm saying? This is just my culture. So, and I think I'm unassuming I was the only black guy in there. I'm gonna assume that. So, yeah, this, you know, not saying that black people or don't have a issues because I know they got the manosphere, women's sphere. I don't, I don't get involved in that stuff. Like I said, I celebrate the man woman paradigm. That's what works for me. So, you know, yeah, that's where I'm at. So, man, oh man, I'm sorry, y'all. I need to shave. I really need to shave. Um, I, mm-mm. Yeah, I just thought it was strange and odd. So yeah, because you know Jimmy Dore, he talks about politics, and I like to get his take on, you know, the whole Ukraine Russia situation. So yeah, I was like, okay, listening to it, you know, and yeah, man, this, you know, and I think you know his wife, what she does is, I think for the patrons, if you pay, give them a certain amount of money, they'll read your comment. And I guess she just kept reading, and I guess she called herself a comedian. And my thing is, this is a cultural thing too. Black people, a lot of us go through, and a lot of us don't even realize we go through comedy boot camp through our childhood. You know, black people be capping each other and this and that, and your jokes better be good. Because if they're not good, it's going to be a pause and they're going to cap on you for the rest. They are going to bag on you for, I'm using old words back in the 80s. We say bag on people, talk about people. It's going to be a shit show for you. And that's why I say black people, we go through a boot camp, meaning you got to be good with your comedy. Now, white people, on the other hand, y'all don't have comedy boot camp. Y'all just tell corny jokes and y'all fake laugh. Some of y'all, most of the time, because I grew up around white people, y'all be fake laughing. And when they hear a fake laugh, they continue on with the damn corny jokes. Not saying that all white people tell corny jokes, but a majority of y'all do. Y'all be telling some corny jokes. I mean, it be corny. White people be telling some corny ass jokes, man. Like I said, black people, we have to go through a boot camp. You know, most of your hoods, I heard a lot. Let's see. I heard a lot that running you joke by black people is the best gauntlet for it. I thought it was a stereotype. So no, it's real life. I mean, at least the neighborhoods I grew up in, the black people I grew up around, went to school with. Yeah, if you telling corny jokes, that's your ass. White people are more lenient. Zanzi, white people are more lenient. I don't know how it works in the Native American community, and the Mexican community, I'm not sure, but the white people are corny as fuck with their jokes. White people are corny as fuck, and the shit don't be corny, and they be forced laughing shit, and it's like that don't work with. Oh, hey, Pilar, how you doing?
Hey, brother. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. I was just talking about how white people be telling some corny jokes, man. I mean, damn. They be like forced laughing and they be like, and I be like, that's not funny. But and I know Pilar, I know growing up, and I was telling people that black people, we have to go through a boot camp. It's not called a boot camp, but if we around a bunch of black people and we tell a joke, we taking a high risk. Am I not lying?
That's true. You gotta be
So,
careful.
right. So that's why black people have the best comedians because we go through it's an unofficial boot camp that we go through. So if you're a black child, you have a black child and you're a black male, black woman, whatever it is, and you're around black people, your joke has got to be funny or they're gonna look at you.
Are you gonna get slapped?
You're gonna get slapped, you might get beat up, but they're gonna talk about you. They are gonna talk about you. But white people, it's like they let whatever fly. Just the corniest joke. So, anywho, how you doing today, Pilar? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you, black son?
I'm doing better. Doing better. I was just discussing, therapy Thursdays, and we were just. I know earlier we talked about the mental health issues here in the U.S. and I'm glad you're here because I know you had a lot to say about, and with your experience, I know you've dealt with a lot of personalities. Let's just say that a lot of personalities. You know, um, and when I wanted to touch on a lot of the diet because you talked about how the people here in the U.S., especially our people, how we live through the South, and a lot of those. I know a lot of us descended from like sharecroppers, so people who have tilled the land, grown fruits and vegetables. And I always like to tell people um, that there are two types of diets that emerged in the South. You had the redneck diet, and you had the plantation diet. And a lot of people don't know that the black people, we had to grow our own fruits and vegetables. A
That's
lot
right.
of our,
That's
oh,
right.
go, yeah,
Yeah,
shut it.
it was normal to have a garden, right?
Right,
Everybody, anybody, I guess, 45 and older can probably remember their grandparents having a garden in the yard somewhere
right.
where they were growing stuff, whether it was a fig tree, some strawberries, some greens, some corn, maybe some
Yes.
potatoes. It was always something. They had my grandparents kept a freezer, the one of those big freezers full of meat
Right,
that they got from whether it was the local butcher or
right,
friends that hunted and stuff, so they didn't have to go to the grocery store because grocery store is only what 1950s.
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
So before then, we were self sufficient to some degree. We were also sharing with one another and
A lot
barter.
of healthier.
Yeah, yeah.
Right,
So now, but everything now everything's messed up. I mean, you can't buy good food anymore. You definitely have to have your own garden again. Uh,
right,
for me, if I don't see dirt on my vegetables or my fruit, I don't really want to eat it because I need dirt. That
right.
helps me know that my food came out of the ground.
Oh, that's you talk about the B12, which a lot of people are lacking in their diet now. The B12, which comes from the dirt. So yeah, that's is very important. And a lot of Americans, we now have to have B12 supplements pumped into the cattle, the chickens, even some of your milks, even your. I mean, it's funny because they talk about how vegans are deficient in B12. What it's like, well, B12 comes from a plant, so I'm just like kind of confused by that whole ordeal. But yeah, I mean yeah. As far like you said, some of the dirt on the on the fruits and vegetables, yeah, that's your B12 right there. That
Mhm.
is your B12. So um, now you've traveled around the world,
Somewhere,
different.
some parts
Okay,
of the world.
okay. So now tell me about some of the I guess some of the natural remedies, some of the diets, some of the I guess did you learn like any natural cures from these different cultures?
Well, I would say that when it comes to food, as compared to what we have in the United States,
Mm-hmm.
um, much of the food sources that I was able to get my food from, my fresh vegetables and fruits and things like that, the food didn't come from so far away. It was like most of the places that I lived, the food was local because
Right,
that's where they ate where they got their food from where they lived, which makes a big difference in terms of nutrition,
right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you go to the grocery stores here, you're going to find your food is coming from Mexico. Mexico is China for us. I mean, that's where a lot
Right.
of food is coming from.
Break it down. Yeah.
Why am I buying watermelon from Mexico when I live in Georgia? I mean, that's the question. I'm wondering why that's the truth about living in Georgia in the grocery stores. There's a period of time when you might find watermelons grown in Georgia, but for the rest of the year, when you shouldn't really be eating watermelons, they're coming from California, Mexico, places like that.
Right.
So, yeah, when I was visiting, my daughter lives outside of this country, but when I was visiting my daughter, there was a deeply intense flavor to the foods that we were consuming.
Right.
It was like
Right.
the foods had flavor, the foods, had substance, and the people weren't unhealthy. There was no obesity where I was. And,
Right.
um, my daughter, when she comes home to the United States, she's always surprised at how obese people are here because, it's the food. Um,
Right.
and, yeah, there are definitely, in terms of medicine, food is your medicine, right?
That's
So
right. That's right.
you're eating the right food, you don't have to worry about getting sick. The kind of disease that we have here is not because we're eating good food. It's because we're eating food that is deficient, tremendously deficient.
Well, I had a quick question then. Of course, we're going through the COVID-19 era. The Omicron and the whatever they want to call it. And I've heard a lot of people talk about how when they get sick, they can't taste anything.
Mhm.
I will say this, just from my own experience with that whole ordeal, I was eating peaches and fruits, and it was more intense actually for me. Is it that people are eating what they're not like? Is their body reject? I mean, I my theory, Pilar, was that they were eating things that they're not supposed to be eating anyway, and their body's rejecting it, so they're not tasting things that they're not supposed to be eating. Like I said, I taste peaches. I mean, it felt like my mouth was electrocuted. That's how strong it was for me.
Well, I don't know about COVID in terms of the taste buds. I mean, that was one of the apparent symptoms that you had
Hmm.
COVID, right? That
Right.
didn't taste. But when your nose is blocked up,
Uh huh.
you can't taste anything. I mean,
Okay.
part of your digestion begins with smelling food, right?
Right. Right.
And if you can't smell the food, you can't taste the food. So, of course, it's sort of almost like common sense. I mean, if you have a cold and your nose or you're stuffed up, then you're not going to be able to taste the food. But
Okay.
I think that was a symptom that they had set aside, and it wasn't put in context. You know what I mean? It wasn't
Okay.
contextualized. It was just that, oh, you won't be able to taste your food, you won't be able to smell your food. I mean, but okay, that's all these symptoms work alone, or do they work together? You know?
Right. Good point. Good point.
So, we have to kind of take everything that they say and pick it apart so that we can understand it, because they're not going to make it so that you can understand, right? So
Right.
there are certain foods that you probably shouldn't be eating because they're out of season, but we eat food all the time. I mean, basically what's available to us in the grocery stores are apples, bananas, oranges, lemons, maybe some mangoes, pineapples that are hybridized, GMO,
Right.
papaya that's GMO'd, kiwi. I mean, these are not fruits that you would get
Year
normally
round.
in the United States land mass. These are things that have to be imported.
Right.
But we're not all from the same place. We're not all, from here. We're many of us have come here from other parts of the world. And so the food represents that. The food is not just for us, but for those of us who are native to this country, because we were
Right.
born here and we have generations here. So we're all kind of eating anything right now, but
Mhm.
there are certain things I won't eat that are out of season. Like right now it's peach season, right? You're
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
eat peaches because it's peach season. I'm not gonna eat a peach in December. What the heck?
Right.
But I haven't had a really good peach in years. I mean, the last peach
Yeah.
that I had that was really good was from New Mexico. I was in New Mexico and I bit into a
Oh
peach
yeah.
way out there, and it was grown in New Mexico, and it was like, oh my God, this is a peach. I haven't
Yeah.
had one of these in years. So most of the peaches now just kind of blah.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, trust me, I know because I remember growing up in California. Yeah, all the peaches and peach plums, nectarines, tangerines were all local. My dad actually had a tangerine and a nectarine tree. So yeah, we would pick it. And then my grandmother had a Granny Smith tree, and she had I think a rhubarb plant. So yeah, we like when you talk about picking stuff just from the earth, yeah, we were doing that.
That's
Yeah,
what we should be. We shouldn't have to go to the grocery store and sit and stand in line and hope that we got some fruits that's going to last us a couple of weeks instead of last a couple of days before you start seeing,
right.
turning. But then there are those fruits that you buy, and that stuff that you buy in the store that never seems to deteriorate. I don't touch that either.
Yeah, that is kind of weird.
He will buy his food and he will leave it on his counter. And if it does not decay, he will not eat it. He's like, I don't know what that is, but it's not
Oh,
food.
wow. Well, at least know the bananas are still straight because I buy them green and then the next day they brown.
Yeah, well, those bananas aren't right either, but that's another.
Okay,
Yes, bananas. There are so many different varieties of bananas. We have one variety of banana that we
that's true.
produce.
Yeah, right.
Only because we have immigrants from other parts of the world that we get little small Thai bananas or the
Right.
green bananas. Otherwise, we've been getting that.
That long.
That banana was the Chiquita banana,
Yeah. Yep.
which is a hybrid. So everything
Yeah,
is
because they all look the same. Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
So, but no, it's harder and harder for me ever since this last couple of years. It's been harder for me to really have a diverse food source, in terms of the foods that I eat. I've discovered that I've had to kind of choose which ones I'm going to stick with and
Right.
that I can trust,
Mm-hmm.
which is harder and harder to do because,
Well,
almost.
I was just gonna ask you which ones do you recommend?
Well, it really depends on the person. I discovered
Okay.
that I have, my body sits well with greens. I eat a lot of greens. And I do pineapple and mango
Okay.
and banana, but I try not to buy my bananas from certain sources. I try to purchase bananas that I know are not coming from like the plantations that are, like
Mm-hmm.
the Chiquita banana plantations. I try to find bananas that I can get from other sources rather than Mexico or
Right.
or Honduras or wherever it is they're grown. And I try to get heirloom tomatoes instead of tomatoes from Mexico.
Okay.
That's harder and harder, but you try to get some heirloom tomatoes. I grow tomatoes, but my tomatoes are, as I think we're talking about today, I didn't get any tomatoes from my last couple of crops because the squirrels are just voracious.
Right. The squirrels, the chipmunks, the deers, the possums, the raccoons. I
Everybody
mean,
fed but me.
yeah. And tell them that we got some healthy. All those animals I just mentioned are huge.
Oh, yeah, we got some healthy wildlife around here. So
Health, yeah.
yeah, but I've learned because of my own body and the way that my body is responded to certain foods that there are certain foods that I know I can't touch anymore, like certain grains. I don't touch corn because corn is all GMO. My body can't digest GMO corn, GMO wheat, GMO soy, and then my body knows it when it takes it in. It knows immediately. It'll make me throw up. So I don't bother with a lot of the grains, but I think that if a person can find 7 or 8 good vegetables and fruits that they can trust, like Vidalia onions, they're grown here in Georgia.
That's right.
I'd rather have a Vidalia onion rather than the yellow onion because I know that the yellow onion is more than likely GMO, but the Vidalia onion, because it is it's a traditional onion, and they have some pride in the onion, so I try to do the Vidalia. Peppers can be hybridized and GMO too, so I try to stay away from what might be GMO'd, like jalapenos and cayenne peppers, and try to and those red peppers and the bell peppers. Those are probably GMO'd, so I try to grow my own and dry them so that I can have them when I want them. So things you can do for yourself, that you can bypass in the grocery store if you can afford to have a little garden. It doesn't take much, 5 by 5 square, 10 by 10 square. It can grow quite a few wonderful items for you.
Now, so you talk about like onions. What about like garlics? What's your take on garlics?
Well, if you can grow your own garlic, that's the best course of action. But I stay away from garlics grown in China.
Okay.
Stay away from garlics that are imported from other parts of the world, like Spain and Mexico. But if you can find a garlic that still has the root attached, because a lot of times they'll bleach the garlic and cut off the root. You don't have any root left. It's just a flat bottom, and then it's been the garlic's been bleached. I try to stay away from those because there's no health benefit to that now.
Dang.
And it's been destroyed. And they've also begun, years ago they started to hybridize or GMO the garlic.
Oh man,
it's a very powerful healer, right?
Yeah.
So by hybridizing it, it's basically increase the flavor but decrease the
nutrients,
the medicinal properties of it. Yeah.
Right.
And that's all an experimentation. I mean, you can still, of course you can still find wild garlic, but grow your own if possible. That way, you can get a much better result because homegrown garlic is much juicier, much better for you. And, you don't have to pull it up. You can just leave it in the ground and pull it up.
Okay.
It doesn't have to come out the ground. You can just leave it there.
Okay, so now I was told that we have green onions that grow wild in the neighborhood.
But you gotta be careful because some green onions aren't green onions. Some of them are have toxic properties. So you gotta have to know what you're pulling up. Yeah, if it's actually a green onion or the toxic counterpart. And I'm not sure which is which, but you can do a look-see on any botanical site and see which one you should be looking for. Because it's very, we got a lot of stuff growing out in the area that looks alike.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to be careful about it because you don't want to end up hurting yourself.
Yeah, because I saw some. I just learned about snakeberries. They look just like strawberries.
Oh, it's a little, yeah.
Yeah, they look just like strawberries, but yeah, when you look at them real close, you're like, oh, that's not okay.
But I don't think they're harmful. I think they just don't have any taste to them.
Oh, okay, okay, okay,
They don't taste like anything. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Mm. Now I've seen because growing up, I don't know how you feel about like onion. I mean, I'm not onions, but like mushrooms and all that. So I saw a squirrel eating these. And, it just rained, and I saw these mushrooms sprouted, and then the squirrels are just tearing them up, and I'm like, oh, that's edible. Because I was taught, yeah, stay away from.
might be, it might be edible. It might have some side effects you might want to be interested in. I don't know. I've never
Oh,
I've never seen squirrels eating mushrooms. That's interesting.
that's why. Yeah, I was shocked, Pilar, when I pulled up and I saw the squirrel. He was just eating there, and he was just standing there. And maybe he was tripping because I got out of my car and almost walked up to it. And he kind of looked at me and then kind of like skipped away. He didn't even run. And I was like, is he tripping? So, because my first.
You might have some psilocybin growing in your yard. You better check it out. Did you take it? Did you get a sample of it? And
There's still two of them in my yard right now. And like I said, the one he pulled up was the biggest one, and he was just munching away at it. And I was just thinking, I mean, we're mammals, they're mammals. No, I don't always. Ooh, okay.
take a picture of it and see if you can't find it online. And,
Okay.
yeah, send it to somebody who might be able to identify it before you eat it. Mushrooms are tricky.
Right. I've always been scared of mushrooms because, like you said, someone can be fatal.
Yeah,
And so that's why I never really, you hear about people saying, oh, I picked natural mushrooms. I've always had a phobia of mushrooms. And, like I said, I've never seen a squirrel eating a mushroom. And that was the first time.
Yeah.
I never
Yeah,
seen
every year is something different around here. It's like, this year, you might be different types of birds, or you might see more turtles, or I've seen really ugly mushrooms in my yard. I mean, ugly mushrooms. I'm like, what the heck is that?
Right.
It looked like black slime. Like,
oh, wow.
Yeah, that was a couple years ago. And I've had mushrooms that if you touch them, they have smoke that comes out of them.
Ooh, no.
Yeah, I don't mess with mushrooms.
Right. Okay. I'm with you on that. Ooh.
Let the squirrels have them.
Right. Okay. Because I'm like I said, I've always had a phobia of mushrooms.
Yeah.
I've always had a phobia. Like, so, but I've always watched animals and seen what they eat. And I guess that's not always good for us, though, right? Pilar, is that not
No,
always?
I mean, we don't have the same stomachs.
Okay.
We don't have the same digestive system.
Okay, so
they may have something in their bodies that will break down certain things that we don't have.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay.
They may be able. They may know something we don't know.
Right.
They're intelligent. They are intelligent creatures.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, it made me more curious than anything. But yeah, I'm not a fan of mushrooms anyway.
Yeah,
So.
I don't really like them. I
don't either.
I will eat them, but I have to know what they are, right?
Yeah.
I have had to buy them myself.
Right.
And mushrooms are good in certain types of foods, especially in Southeast Asian food, in Thai and Chinese type of dishes,
Mm-hmm.
mushrooms are often a main part of the dish.
Right.
I can't think of too many things that we use mushrooms for here. I don't use a lot of mushrooms for.
Right.
I think growing up, my mom used to use those white button mushrooms for stuff, but
right.
I don't like white button mushrooms. I don't think they have a purpose. It's almost like white button mushrooms are like the tofu of mushrooms.
Right. I'm with you on that. I guess people, they just, I like I said, the texture, all that, the taste. I've never been a fan.
Yeah, no.
Not much of a fan of mushrooms. So yeah, I'm with you on that. With you on that, Pilar. So now what are some of the, because I know you're going to travel. And so, what are some of the, I guess, some of the dishes, some of the different cuisines that really stand out to you? Um, I guess, like, like, because you said you've been to Ghana, so I mean,
Oh,
what kind of dishes?
oh. Well, Ghana, it was my, that was my first time to Africa was when I went to Ghana. And the thing I liked about the food in Ghana was that they used, they had a fermented corn and they called it was kenke, called kenke.
Okay,
And I really enjoyed kenke. And it was served often with dried fish or fish with hot sauce. And I just love
okay,
fish,
okay.
Of course, everything was fresh. It wasn't like you give them to the grocery store. No. And then, the food that when I was first introduced to food there was like the awakening. It was like, this is a chicken? This is
Oh,
chicken tastes? Oh my God. Or a tomato. Oh my God, this is a tomato?
right.
No, this isn't the tomato I eat back at home. This is an orange. How come it's green? You know, uh, first time I ever had avocado was when I went to the continent. I think I was in Ivory Coast when I had avocado. I didn't want it. I didn't eat it. I was like, I don't know what that is.
Right, right. Okay.
I'm not gonna eat that. But now I love avocados.
Yeah.
Um, so the food in Ghana and all the parts of the African continent that I went to when I first went, what struck me was the purity of the food. It doesn't really
Right.
matter what it was. There were some things I didn't like because I was like, ugh, this is
Right. You're not gonna like
what
everything.
is this?
Yeah. Hmm.
I didn't like coconut water when I first went there. I was like, ugh, I don't like this, but now I love it.
Mm.
The thing about eating food in on the continent, in the African continent, for me was the ritual around food. It wasn't just food. You didn't just go in the kitchen and cook.
Right.
It was a celebration. It was a moment. It was a sharing. It was something you sat around the table to get to know each other. And
Right.
people opened their doors to you, and you were a stranger, but they said, come to the house, let's eat. And it wasn't like everywhere you go, every time you walk in somebody's home, there was food, and that's everywhere I've gone, with the exception of here. It's like when you
Right.
go to other parts of the world, it's like they bring food. It's like, okay, you're gonna have food. We're gonna have tea. We're gonna have coffee. We're gonna have sweets. We're gonna have they're gonna share their food stuff with you because it's nice. It's like that's just tradition.
Right.
The first time I went to when I was in Ghana, we lived in a village for a while, and around funerals and weddings and other things that happen in the village, they would have a sacrificial goat.
Hmm.
That was the only time they really had meat. Was when they did that. So it wasn't like you ate meat all the time.
Right.
There was an abundance of fresh fish, and if you wanted a chicken, you say, well, can you get us a chicken? They go to the market, get you a live chicken, bring it back and kill it. And
Hmm.
be like, this is chicken.
Do they look the same, or do they
I think the ones there were smaller. Yeah,
smaller? Okay.
yeah.
They were
I mean,
smaller. Okay.
smaller and better meat.
Mm.
She didn't have it, but you didn't have a lot. It wasn't something you did every day. It was, hey, can we
Right.
eat chicken today? Maybe every so often. Um,
Right. So was it like a everyday, and they don't do it in mass, I guess, to cause. So there's not a whole lot of obesity there.
when I was there, no, I mean, of course they had, you had big women, but obesity wasn't the thing it is today. I haven't been to Ghana in many, many, many years, so I don't know what
Okay.
it's like now. From what I understand, Ghana has become much more westernized than it was.
Right.
Where, I mean,
So
once you start importing McDonald's and Burger King and Krispy Kreme and Robin
wow.
ice cream, once you start importing Western fast food to
Right. And
people
then
who
it's addictive too on top of that.
right, and people
Yeah.
who otherwise have that food, then they're gonna eat that. They're like, oh, I'm an American now, I'm eating, you know,
Right. Don't know the side effect
don't
to
eat
it.
that. But you can't tell them that. But then there are certain places, like in Saudi Arabia, where you can't have certain things in the food. You can't. There are certain things that because of the Sharia laws, because of it's a Muslim country, and because
Yeah.
there are certain things they just don't eat. You're not going to go to McDonald's and find the same kind of crap you're going to get here. I mean, the food that you're going to get in the McDonald's in Saudi Arabia is going to be a much better quality of food because the kingdom is very protective of its people. So you're not going to eat soy burgers, and your French fries aren't going to be made from plastic. Okay,
Oh
it's just not.
wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh.
um, so food is a lot better because it's required to be better. They love their people. I mean, here
Mm-hmm.
they're feeding cows. In this
Yeah.
country, you're chattel. So here, just eat this. You know. So there's no concern, or care about food that you consume in this country because it's all about the marketplace. And whatever they can get away with, they're going to get away with, and you don't have any power. So shut up.
So you're saying like okay, so you're saying like Saudi Arabia, they protect. So I'm assuming that they talk to the doctors, the scientists, and they see what's good, what's not good. So I guess they're more serious about what they're giving to the general public.
Well, of course, because they're Muslims, first of all, and there are certain
Okay.
things. They are the keeper of the three mosques. I mean, they are the holy. That's Saudi Arabia. I mean,
Right.
they have standards that they have to set, and they have beliefs that they have to follow, and they have laws that are required. And it's like halal food. You can't have halal food unless you have laws that you follow, right? And
Right.
so, like meat and things like that are prepared in a halal fashion, which is requires a certain way of killing the animal. The animals aren't killed in mass. You kill each
Right.
animal on its in its own little space, and you pray over the animal, and then I mean, you don't just take them into a stockyard filled with chained together and locked up in boxes together, and then um, electrify them and then cut them,
Right.
cut their balls off. No,
Hmm.
that's adding trauma to the meat.
Right.
They do it in a certain way so that the animal itself is at peace with the dying.
Mm.
And so then when you get it, it's like, okay, it's been done in the halal fashion, and according to Sharia law, we could eat. You know,
So how do they deal with like soft drinks and sodas, stuff like that?
um, they have them. I mean, but there
Okay.
are certain ingredients in everything that they you have to pass the muster, right?
Okay.
So let's say Coca-Cola and the potato chips and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They taste different
Okay.
because there are certain ingredients that you just can't put in there, right?
Right.
So you have to have your ingredients have to be in accordance with the law. So you can sell Coke, but it's not going to have some of that stuff that they might put in Coca-Cola in this country.
Got you. Okay.
You can sell Cheetos, but there are certain types of Cheetos you're not going to get there. Like
Mm.
I can never get the kind of Cheetos that I liked in Saudi Arabia because they just didn't allow them.
Right.
So things like I don't know. It's another one. Um, there were certain foods that you could get later on after I'd been there for a couple of years. The market started to change to some degree, but not to the degree that they allowed prohibited items into the country.
Right.
Okay, you're not getting nothing into that country. It's not supposed unless you got an in. I mean, if you're in the military, you can bring pig all day.
Okay.
You got an access point that they're not checking. But regular old folks like you and me, we're not gonna get access to stuff that's not allowed because
Oh,
you got to go to the store to get that stuff. And
right.
that's there. Yeah. So it was great. At first when I first went, um, buying vegetables was difficult.
Mm.
Because I was in a location that was a smaller location, and so buying like broccoli was expensive. I was like,
Oh, wow.
broccoli was like $4 a pound. I was like, ooh,
Ooh.
a lot of money, but
Yeah.
I wanted it, so I bought it. But when I got to a larger city, Riyadh, I was able to find, green leafy greens and all kinds of manner of foods. Um,
Hmm.
so, I mean, and you work yourself, you work around it as much as you can. But one of the things that I realized was when I was looking at where the food was coming from, the food was coming from regional, the area within Saudi that I was living in, but also from other parts of the Middle East, you know,
Mm.
and that was interesting because I'd never been in a place where I would see, food coming from Syria and uh, Turkey and other parts of the Middle East that were close by.
Right, because they do mass trading amongst each other
Yeah,
without
yeah.
the white man.
And
Okay.
the food was cheaper. A lot of that was a lot cheaper, simply because the access they had to each other's foods.
Okay.
Whereas here, if you got to bring all your food out from California or Mexico, and already the cost of everything is increased just because you're here, then you're going
Right.
to pay a lot more money. Yeah.
So what happened to? I mean, because I know once upon a time, Georgia, like you said, all had its local stuff. California, everybody had their local, and then all of a sudden now we getting everything shipped and trucked in from all these different states, different countries.
Yeah. Well, I know that here in DeKalb County, about 20 years ago, there was a mandate that there were a lot of trees in the area that were that grew wild. I mean, we had apple trees, crab apple.
Yeah.
We had all plums. We had trees that were in the area, but they cut them all down.
Right. Mm.
Now they're trying to grow some. I think there are some parts of the belt line
Yeah.
downtown Atlanta where you
Hmm.
can find pawpaw trees and fig trees and maybe some plum trees. I mean, there's somebody's out there planting trees again.
Okay.
For the last couple decades, we haven't had the kinds of access to food because whatever policies that they've created, they want you to go to the grocery store. They want you to have to rely on the grocery store, and that's just I have a friend who is into the raw milk movement, and trying to find raw milk, is difficult because they outlawed it. You
I was
just
just going to ask you that because I
yeah,
know they were really hard on. I think it was the Amish or somebody, but they were talking about passing laws and they could lock you up if.
yeah.
I'm
I
like,
mean,
what?
what? This is your life. I mean, so this is just government regulation, which has crossed over into paternalism, where they think that they know better what's better for you than you know what's better for you.
Right.
So that's why I'm kind of I don't eat out because I don't know who you are and I don't know what you've done with yourself and I don't know what your thoughts are and why you're thinking what you're thinking and I don't need to be eating food that's got your energy on it. Thank you very much. I
Right.
it's too risky in this state of time to
Well,
let
it would be a whole lot of healthier people if they thought the way you did, Pilar, because people have just gotten so lazy. Now you got all the what they call it. All they got so many food deliveries, delivering your groceries and all that stuff. And I'm just like, that's
yeah,
just too much access for somebody who you don't know. Because
yeah you don't know what they
food is personal. Yeah, food is like that's personal. Like
Woo,
I'm about to consume this, and it's been all in your car. I don't know if you got cats and dogs.
thank you. I don't know you.
It's
Yep.
kind of weird. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not easy because you give up a lot of things when you do for self, right?
Yeah.
But once you come to terms with it and recognize that you're doing it not just to be healthy, but also to protect yourself down
Yeah,
the line, and your family. It becomes easier and easier and easier, and you realize how much money you save. You
that's
save
right.
a lot of money. I don't, you know, eating. There's all kinds of ways to eat, but you know, one of my rules is eat when you're hungry.
Right.
I mean, I'm still working on that because I have things that I like to eat. There are things that I like to eat. My daughter will tell you. She likes potato chips. I do. I like potato chips,
Right.
but I
I
try
do
to
too.
find the non GMO type.
Right.
you know, and I try to stick with one bag. I don't buy 5 bags and stash them all at home. I just say, okay, well, I think I want some chips today. I'll eat some of this now, and I'll eat some of this later.
Okay.
But it just kind of you don't need to have the whole bag, right? You need to just
Right. Yeah.
you know, kind of limit yourself. And that's part of it
Hmm.
is just we've been given so much freedom in this country to do free will, whatever you do, whatever you want, don't care about the rest. That reining in, our desires and our thinking about I can do whatever I want, the free will thing. Reining
Hmm.
that in, it takes a lot of strength, and courage. And not all of us are ready for that.
Right.
We're just not ready. But once you get sick and you recognize that your sickness is attached to the way you live,
Right.
what you're thinking, either you'll wake up and you'll change or you'll keep going on the same path until you're dead. So you got a choice.
Mm.
You do. You got a choice. Look at yourself in the mirror and see if you like what you see. And if you don't, ask yourself, how can you change it and ask for help?
Right.
Help will come. Help will come.
Well, uh, when we're dealing with the food supply, I know we're dealing with a lot of addictions, and I know I've studied to where certain foods actually damage your taste buds to the natural fruits and vegetables. So now you have to crave the more artificial salts, the sugars, the artificial flavorings,
Yeah.
because and it takes a while to recuperate from the damage,
Yeah.
because now you have a generation of kids who don't like vegetables. They don't like fruits. They're like, oh, that's nasty. And I'm like, dang, maybe it's because the taste buds have been damaged by all the cookies and the chips and whatnot and
Yeah.
all the artificial, because our body craves sugar. I get that. But when you have the processed sugars taking over the natural sugars that we get from the plums and the peaches, it takes a while to, I
Yeah.
guess, readjust your taste buds
Yeah.
back to its normal self.
If you've never had anything but white sugar,
Yeah.
you don't know what natural sugar tastes like or what food should taste like without
Right.
all that added salt and all that added fat and all that added
Right.
sugar. And you're
Right.
right. Kids are, I'm not every child is that way because I know
Right.
parents who are very, conscientious about what they give their child. But I know for me, when I stopped eating sugar, um, it was a challenge. But what it did for me was when I ate sugar again a couple years later,
Yeah.
I was like, "Ooh, hot hell,"
Yeah.
ooh, And the same thing with salt. When you stop eating salt on your food, you actually taste the food, right?
Right.
Because all salt does is cover the taste, right? But
Right. And don't it kind of numb your tongue?
I don't know about all that, but it does definitely cover your tongue with a substance that isn't natural. And then of course it's like smoking.
Right.
People who smoke, they can't taste food like they used to. Food their taste buds get destroyed from the smoking.
Right. Right. Right.
Um,
Because
mhm.
right. Because I mean, they do studies where they say people who add salt, they tend to add more salt and then more salt and then more salt and more sugar, more sugar, more sugar. I've gone to places where Oh my gosh, I've like, cause you know I got a love for lemonade, right? But I've been to places where the lemonade tastes like syrup, and I'm like, dang, who is tasting this? Because it's like way too sweet.
Those are people who have no control, though. When you say, I mean, people who have no control suffer from the need to add more because they're not there. It's like crack, you know. You have to keep getting
Right,
more and more and more because you need to get the same feeling.
right. The same type of high. So, are you saying that okay, your taste buds get to a certain point, and then now you have to add more to get to that point to get to that, like a crack addict, right?
I don't think it's a taste bud so much. I think it's more of your whole system. I think it's your brain. You know, sugar is very close to cocaine.
Right.
So if you're eating a little bit of sugar, it's like okay, okay. So like when I drink coffee, right? I
Hmm.
like coffee with sugar in it, right?
Okay.
And I try not to use sugar. I try to use like stevia or
Right.
maple syrup or honey, you know.
Okay.
If I don't have any of those things, let's say I'm traveling, okay, and now none of those things are available, and I have to use white sugar. I can use half the amount of white sugar than I do maple syrup. So if I use a teaspoon of maple syrup in my coffee, I can use half a teaspoon of sugar in my coffee, and it will be sweeter than if I had maple syrup
Right.
to me because I haven't been using white sugar.
Okay.
But if somebody who's been using white sugar, they may be satisfied with a teaspoon, or they might say, I need a little bit more. They might add another teaspoon. So yeah, I think your body can get used to the feeling that the sugar gives you and needs more. But sugar is empty. I mean,
Right.
there's no
Right.
calorie, there's no benefit. It's like it's just flavoring, right? And
Hmm.
so, but it does do stuff. It wreaks havoc in the body,
Right.
and
Absolutely.
so it could be that the body gets used to a little bit of sugar and wants more over time. So
Right. Right. But doesn't it now? I'm thinking in order for that to happen, because I know naturally, Pilar, the body has to have a cutoff, right?
you
Like,
mean
okay, um, if you're pouring salt on a steak or like you say, sugar in your coffee, like I guess my question is there a cutoff point? Because like you said, too much sugar can cause diabetes, high blood pressure, it can cause health problems.
that's
So
the reason why there's no cutoff point. You
well,
know,
that's the problem.
you need a cutoff point, yeah. But if you don't have a cutoff point, you end up with sugar. You end up the diabetes, or you end up with what the salt cause
Oh, high blood pressure.
high blood pressure.
Yeah.
Because your kidneys regulate blood pressure.
Yeah.
So if you're pouring salt down your throat, and now your kidneys have got to filter through all that noise, you're reducing the capacity of your kidneys to regulate the blood pressure. So if you
Hmm.
have high blood pressure, you need to clean your kidneys out.
Right.
And you need to clean your kidneys and you need to clean your liver. Okay. And so a lot of things that we suffer with um, are a result of toxicity in the body, right? So if you have high blood pressure, clean your system out. Focus on your kidneys.
But
Okay.
Pilar, okay, so because what you're it sounds okay. When you have that type of overload, there's only so much that the body can take.
Yeah.
So isn't there like a natural defense where the body says, "Okay, shut down. Enough is enough."
No. The
Oh
body, the
wow!
body, the body doesn't shut off if you're still shoveling
Right,
mess down your throat. What the body gonna do? Oh yeah, the body shuts off, but it's not because it's trying to.
right. It's already too late. Right.
Body said, "Well, I can't do no more for you, bruh. Got to sit here and let you keep doing this and killing me, until you realize that you're killing me, and You need to stop eating sugar, stop eating salt, stop eating pork, stop eating all the things. Get up off your behind, drink some water. I mean,
Well, but in many cases, sometimes it's like too late. That's why you got so many people in the hospital.
that's right. It's too late. But
So,
see, disease is your body trying to cure itself.
Right.
When you start seeing stuff, and your body starts telling you stuff, you need to say, okay, why is my body telling me this? What do I need to stop doing?
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't stop doing that, then, if you're eating pork sausage every day for breakfast and eggs and grits and pancakes and all that crap, and then one day you get your liver gives you a check-in, and you're like, oh, why am I not digesting my food anymore? Well, you might think maybe it's all that mess you done put in your body. You might want to, stop eating for a minute and let your body fast and maybe just not eat any more pork and green beans and with pork and. So, but we don't listen to ourselves. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm perfect. I'm not, because there are things I do that I know I should probably, check in every now and then. But because sometimes I'm just a little too lazy to do, what I should do, I let it bypass, but I don't ever not get to a point where I don't cleanse myself, and I try to cleanse myself at least 3 times a year.
Right.
But, you have to be aware of the need to do that. But look, dumb man, I'm going to have to run.
Okay. I mean, thank you for showing up, Pilar. I want to have you on the show again. We did an hour. We did good. We did an whole hour. So yeah.
Well, good luck to you, my brother Blackson.
Same to you, Pilar. And you have a safe trip. You have a safe trip. Yes.
I'll see you before then.
Okay.
Bye.
All right. Bye, Pilar. Okay, y'all. All right. So that was Pilar. Okay, y'all. I want to thank y'all for coming out. Zanzi. Man, thank you, Zanzi. I want to give a shout out to Zanzi. Want to give a shout out to Mellow Cap. Give a shout out to everybody in the clouds listening. Hey, y'all. I have to get going. Man, we did an hour. Man, an hour go by so quick. Like I said, every Thursday. I think I'm gonna have next week. I'm gonna have Sister Michelle on. Sister Michelle. Michelle said she'd be glad to do a show. Michelle has lost. She has lost. I think about. I'm gonna let her tell it. And I'll ask her, if she wants to show some before and after pictures. Let me tell you, Michelle, she's looking really good. So I'm gonna have her share with her journey. And Michelle Rollins, we're gonna have her on, Miss Mincy, and we're gonna talk about her journey and her weight loss. So that's what we got for Therapy Thursdays. Now, as y'all know, I do a show on Tuesdays, more political, so I'm going to be doing that. And then Sunday, Zanzi, are you still there? Zanzi. We're going to have Zanzi on the panel. We're going to have my PSN family come in and just chit-chat it up, talk a little politics, talk a little world affairs, talk a little maybe, gaming, whatever, just some casual conversation, but with a panel. Okay, so y'all, Zanzi said, yeah, he's ready. Okay, cool. So Sunday. All right, so Sunday, what time is good for you, Zanzi? I can't remember what side of Canada you're on, man. Are you on the East Coast or West Coast? Okay, I'll bring my iPad with me, so I'll most likely be able to join. Wait, I thought you're not working on Sunday. I thought you said you weren't working on Sunday, man. Later, the best chance I'm at home. Later, the best chance I'm at home. Okay. And same time zone. Oh, cool. Okay, so me and Zanzi, he's on the East Coast of Canada. Okay, cool. So we're gonna be able to have him on, man. All right. Be ready, Zanzi. Be ready. All right, I'm gonna close it out because we're well over an hour here. All right, Zanzi, we will see you on Sunday. Thanks to y'all for coming out. Peace.